So this video that we're just about to watch is from yesterday's demo in London. So why are you here at the German embassy protest November the 1st?
Well, it's a new law's just come in Germany, and I'm half German, and I can't bear the fact that women and girls and boys are not going to be safe because men can self-identify into women's safe spaces.
Yeah, and so what's the threat? Why does that matter?
Well, it's just open to anyone, so anyone who wants to break safeguarding boundaries and get access to vulnerable women and girls, and this will mean children as well, just declares themselves female. It's an abuser's charter.
Yeah, that's terrible. What does your slogan, Raus mit den Männern?
So this is a German song, and I've rather overthought it this morning. It's a song by Ute Lemper, and it means get the men out of the women's house.
Oh, right.
It's a reference to a song she sings. It wasn't written by her.
And what's your outfit?
So I've got my suffragette colours on today. Got my suffragette hat, slightly Edwardian, and I've got my suffragette sash on as well.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
No, you're welcome.
Okay, vielen Dank.
Yeah, tschüss.
So, who are you and
Hiya.
why are you here at this demo?
I'm DJ Lippy, I'm an activist.
Oh, you're famous.
Twitter famous, is not really famous, about 1,000 people famous.
What's your Twitter?
Turfosaurus. I'm an activist, and it comes from a protest that was held to protest Labour's embrace of policies like self-ID, which have a harmful impact on women. Basically, we've been told we're like dinosaurs hoarding rights, and this is the new way of the future, that people should just be able to self-identify whatever gender they feel like.
Yeah. And what's wrong with that?
Well, it's got a load of knock-on effects on women, single-sex spaces, gay rights. Essentially, you've replaced something that's an objective fact about reality with a subjective notion. There's not actually a definition of gender in any of these acts as far as I'm aware. It's just a bundle of sex-based stereotypes that people are trying to identify into. So there's no protections for nefarious actors and bad faith actors who want to game the system or exploit the system, exploit the loopholes. And it puts women in a very vulnerable position, women in domestic violence shelters, in women's prisons, changing rooms. These kind of spaces that were built for women so that we could have equal access to the public realm, because there was just men's spaces and women were very, very vulnerable to sexual assault in those spaces. So we've built them over many, many years. And it seems funny that although the states introducing these laws will pay lip service to things like domestic abuse and women's rights, in reality what they're doing is dismantling women's rights, dismantling women's safeguards, and it's happening all over Europe. This is like a top-down movement. I think Germany is the biggest country to embrace self-ID. We've had Spain follow suit. It started off with small countries, Ireland, Malta, and now it's moving on to the bigger states, and Germany is one of the biggest economies in Europe, and
So we're really worried about it.
Yeah, it's very concerning, and it just builds a consensus that it's perfectly fine, but like in many places around the world, when it's introduced, they don't check up. There's no way to follow through and see is this negatively impacting on women. They don't keep records, so we don't really know what's happening. And if men are going to be taking advantage to basically get at women where women are vulnerable. So it's very, very worrying. And again, Germany's a country with not the best track record on women's rights. I know after the fall of the Berlin Wall, a lot of East German women lost a lot of their sex-based rights. So there's already a country that doesn't have the greatest protections for women. Yeah. And this is just knocking the stool out from under us, as you will,
yeah.
You know.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Vielen Dank. What's the protest and why are you here?
It's about, in Germany, they've just enacted a law that allows men to self-ID as women. The law also allows people to choose the gender of their baby when they're born, and this is just madness. It's just madness.
Go on their birth certificate. So they can just say.
They can just say. I think my son, my biological son, to me feels like a girl. So the child has no rights in this, has no say in this at all. But the difficult thing for us is that Germany is so powerful within the world that self-ID coming into effect in Germany is possibly a knock-on effect everywhere else.
Yeah.
So that, for me, in my country, England, Great Britain, is a massive thing. So I'm here for my daughter, my stepdaughter, for all my friends and all their daughters, many of whom agree that this is madness, but just don't think it's going to be an effect. It's not going to matter to them. It's not going to affect anybody. But I feel this is critical. It's a dismantling of society as we know it and trying to restructure it in a way that nobody has agreed to.
Brilliant.
So that's why I'm here.
Thank you so much for being here. Why are you here at this demonstration against German self-ID?
Because I feel quite deeply about this issue, and I feel that this law and self-ID in general is absolutely the wrong way to go about supporting people who think they can't be happy in the body they're born with. And there are many, many reasons why I think this is the wrong way to go about this, but I think a couple of them are I think it particularly affects vulnerable young people, and in particular vulnerable young girls actually, who are set on a pathway promising them happiness when actually they often end up with irreversible medical interventions, which is tragic. And we see an increasing number of detransitioners now and people who really regret what's happening. And again, I think it affects young women more than young men. I think there are a lot of other fights we still have to do to get to equality between the sexes and accepting homosexuality around the world. So many countries where homosexuality is still capital punishment. So many countries where women can't speak, show their face.
Afghanistan.
I think those are the struggles we have to concentrate on, and not on this allegedly progressive movement pushing the boundaries to a sort of like non-binary world.
Yeah.
Which sort of like brings me on to another point, which is it's just deeply unscientific. There are two sexes. Yes, there are some intersex conditions, but these people actually need very specific help. They're not served by the current trans ideology. So it's deeply scientific. We've got gravity, the earth is round, we do accept that. How people can't accept that there are two sexes, it's beyond me. And I think it leads to, I wouldn't have a problem if we still recorded your biological sex and then what you feel like.
Yes,
yeah? But yes, you could do that if you feel but it shouldn't be the basis of law. Yeah, what you feel like.
So it could be possibly like a religion. You could be
exactly.
a female
exactly. A self-declared whatever.
And it would be just
but it can't be the basis of law. It can't be the basis of law. I mean, we're going to see so many cases now, ridiculous cases, where men declare to be women to claim their pension earlier and whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, the most... and as the other thing, actually, probably my last point, because I could go on forever, is that, we shouldn't be surprised that the far right is rising. Yeah, because actually a lot of people in Germany look at what the Greens and the SDP have been doing with this law and think, are you serious? Are you serious?
Yeah.
And then they flock, and in the States as well.
Yeah.
And they flock to, some sort of like more right positions because they think
Which we do. We at WDI, we really disagree with the right positions.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. But I find myself now agreeing with Kemi Badenoch.
Yes.
I'm suddenly
at least on this.
Yeah, on this.
At
least on this.
Yeah.
And I'm politically homeless, really.
Yes. Yeah.
And so I think it's a big tragedy. I particularly feel for vulnerable young women. Who it's rubbish that it's reversible and stuff, and you could just try once your puberty is blocked. And also for young girls who are trying to, get into sports.
Yes.
You just don't know whether, you're going to have a boy in the competition, and your the odds are suddenly stacked very differently against you.
Okay.
So I think it's a very sad day for Germany, not just because of this law, but also the wider impact and actually driving some people towards the AfD.
Yeah, it's terrible. Okay, well, thank you very much. Vielen Dank.
Gern geschehen.
Hello.
Hello.
This is very appropriate for just after Halloween. Your hair.
It is all year round for me.
So,
I'm here because self-ID is the death of women's rights. It renders women nothing but a concept in a man's head, a philosophical idea, a legal fiction. It destroys all of the protections that we had that were based on our sex, and it destroys children's rights as well. As now in Germany, you can, if you give birth to a daughter but you always wanted a son, you'll just write son on, you've got a boy on the birth certificate, and now you've got a boy. Magic. Right, this is literally where we're at. It sounds ridiculous, but that is what the law is. And if you call a man who doesn't think he's a man, you can be fined, I think it is €10,000.
I heard it might be even more than that, like 100,000.
It may be, I can't remember the exact number of zeros, but yeah, it's ridiculous. You shouldn't be fined €1 for it, because calling a man is just speaking the truth, and that should never be illegal. That should never be a finable offence. I don't care what his feelings are. His feelings. Being kind to these men who are not being kind to us. They are destroying our rights.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Hello. Can you tell people who don't know who you are and what your channel is and why you're here?
Okay.
She's Maria.
My name's Maria McLachlan. I have a YouTube channel called Peak Trans, which challenges gender identity ideology, which is the ideology that has captured Germany and many other countries. Actually, of course, we're here today to protest on behalf of our German sisters, because the consequences of gender ideology have been devastating for so many women, girls in particular, but also children of both sexes who are led to believe that they can be what they're not, and that it's going to make them happy and it's going to make life better for them, but it doesn't.
It won't. And your YouTube channel I often watch, and thank you so much for doing it. It's absolutely brilliant, and it's very amusing, so definitely watch it. It's very informative but also very amusing. Do you post every week, or?
Oh, I do my best, you know. Sometimes I'll do one a week, then I might go for a few weeks without doing one, but my intention is to continue until my dying breath.
We're going to win this. Thank you so much, and I think loads of people. So it's Peak Trans.
Peak Trans.
Absolutely
also
watch
the website at peaktrans.org. I collect all the latest news, links to all the news articles, the blogs posts, so check it out.
Definitely worth watching, and we'll put links to that in the chat. Thank you so much, Maria. Francis, hello, welcome to England.
Hello, good to be here.
Why have you come to this protest?
Because I care very, very deeply about women and girls, and I know that this kind of law has been coming in through Europe. In Spain, it has already come in. Men are taking advantage of it all the time. We are not safe where men can enter places for women. We're not safe, and girls particularly are not safe. I mean, I don't give a shit anymore, and I will shout about this.
Yeah.
I mean, we older women have to protest, because if you have a job, you're likely to be sacked for expressing such views. And I'm absolutely sick of it. I'm really angry. So any opportunity to protest, I will come.
Thank you so much.
Same
Thank you.
for me.
Same for her.
I'm from WDI, Women's Declaration International. Why are you here on this demo, or do you know why your dog's here?
He's here because he doesn't like Rottweilers and Doberman Pinschers, identifying as miniature pinschers, because he finds
Is he a miniature pincher?
He's a miniature pincher himself.
So sweet.
Yeah.
Can I stroke him?
Yeah, he's fine. Yeah.
He looks a bit cold. Or is it
That's just what they
excited?
do. No, that's just what they do when they stay still.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
And what's wrong? Why can't he just be kind to Dobermans and Rottweilers?
Well, he's had bad experiences with Dobermans and Rottweilers, and he's particularly wary of them, understandably, as is his instinct. And he doesn't want to play with Rottweilers in the park. He wants to play with dogs, other miniature pinschers.
Yeah, yeah. And it's dangerous for him, I guess.
Yeah, it's dangerous for him. It confuses his sense of reality. He's constantly gaslighted into people telling him that he is actually, that he might himself be a Doberman.
Great. So can you tell the WDI FQT viewers who you are and why you're here?
Oh, I'm Helen Saxby. I'm a feminist, and I'm here in support of our German sisters who are just about to be legislated out of existence.
It's horrific. So what's the worst thing about it from your point of view?
I think probably the worst thing is the way that children can be now transed with or without their parents' consent. Certainly at the age of 14 they don't need parental consent, and even from earlier ages they can be basically their sex can be changed.
Yeah.
And as we know, nobody can change sex, and to do that to a child, I think that's child abuse.
Yeah, that's so terrible. It's great to be here. How many people do you think are at this demonstration?
Oh, that's a difficult one. There's a few hundred, aren't there?
Yeah. It seems like, I mean, in a way it might be the biggest demonstration we've had outside an embassy. We had the New Zealand embassy.
Yes, I think so. And I don't know if you just heard that, but there was some cars beeping on the way past. So many taxi drivers, ordinary people, lorry drivers, people beeping in support of us. So I think it's a really good sign. People who are just ordinary going about their business and they're beeping in support.
They're brilliant.
Yes.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Helen.
Thank you.
So Stephanie, you're from Transgender Trend.
Yes.
One of the very first organisations to stand up and say what was going on and done amazing work in schools. Why are you at this demo?
It's a really dangerous law, and it's really frightening, not just for in support of German women and children, but also what happens in Germany. They're going completely against what's happening elsewhere, and this is a really dangerous law. It's a dangerous law for women, and it's a dangerous law for children.
Are they going more? Is it more extreme than any other law in Europe?
I'm not sure, because I think there have been other self-ID laws passed, but this seems to be, I think, more comprehensive than any other law, and particularly in regards to children. That parents can essentially choose their child's sex. That's impossible.
Yes.
A child can't choose their sex. It's not, it's not right to tell them that they can.
Yes.
This is really, at age 14 they can decide, children can decide for themselves which sex they are. That is really crazy. And to say that any teenager is able to make decisions that will affect them for the rest of their lives. We don't allow that in any other area.
It's completely mad. Are you happy, Stephanie, that there are so many women and men now involved in the struggle? Because at the beginning it was probably only you and Sheila Jeffries.
Yes.
No, is it heartening to you?
It's absolutely brilliant. There are groups now for, everything. There are professionals, there are teachers, there are clinicians, there are parent groups, there are lesbian and gay and bi groups, there are groups looking at the law, fairness in sport. Every because this is such a huge issue. It affects free speech. It affects every area of everybody's lives, actually, but of course mostly women and the most vulnerable children. There are groups for autistic children. When I started Transgender Trend, I had a useful links page which I set up when I think Women's Place UK started and Fair Play for Women. And now that page is in lots of different sections. It's huge. There are so many links to so many groups, and I've got an international section for all the groups springing up all over the world. And I think it's sort of one person speaks up. I've always felt this. It's like a snowball effect. It's permission giving for everybody else. One person sets up an organisation. It's permission giving for other people to do the same.
Yeah.
And every time anybody speaks up in whatever capacity, whether it's quite personal, sort of hidden, not in public, but speaks to a friend or just asks a question or makes a comment. I think everybody can do that now. I think in the UK, because of the CAS review,
that's a real a permission-given thing for anybody who it backs everybody who's had concerns about this. So I think it's time for everybody to be a bit braver in whatever capacity they have to speak out, and that we will reach that critical mass where laws like this cannot be passed anymore.
And also in Britain, and I think in the States, United States of America, people can speak out, but in Germany they're instituting the fines for misgendering, which are terribly worrying. So in countries like Britain, where we can speak, we really need to, don't we?
Absolutely. I think where you can, you do, and it does make a difference. And I think the UK does have an influence, and so I think we have a responsibility that we can. At the moment, our speech is fairly protected. We can speak out, and we should do so. But it's quite unbelievable that this ideology, this belief, this faith is being imposed in Germany, and with fines if you don't go along with it and use the language and pretend to agree with the belief.
Yeah.
I mean, that's totalitarian, isn't it?
It really is, yeah. Well, look, thank you so much, Stephanie, and thank you for all of your work on behalf of, we have lots of WDI viewers.
Well,
I'll speak for everybody, I'm speaking for everyone. Thank you so much for everything you've done.
There's loads of us now, and I'm grateful to every single woman who is taking action on this.
Why are you here, and what do you think of it?
Well, I'm here because I'm really upset for women in Germany who are going to have to contend with men claiming to be women, destroying women's rights, and all that goes with it, which involves the medicalisation of children. And it's all a lie. None of it is true. There is no such thing as gender dysphoria. There are orthogynephilic men. And that women should lose their rights for a male fetish is atrocious. So I'm here to offer my solidarity for women in Germany. I don't think we can stop this law going through now, but it will have to be reversed at some point in the future, as with all of these horrendous laws.
Fantastic. And how about you, Ray?
What she said. But actually why I'm here is because I've travelled quite a long way, is because I wouldn't want to miss this, because this is part of an international global wave of solidarity with the women in Germany that have worked their socks off to organise this, and I'm really impressed, and I hope this is just one of many more waves that are going to roll around the globe. So rock on, sisters.
How much fun is it coming to this sort of thing?
It's great fun.
Out of 10?
Oh, out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Well, I'm a rather sad soul. This is my social life.
So it's highly recommended. Anyone who, next time, everybody come to one of these. 10 out of 10,
10
yeah.
out of 10, yeah.
Yeah, me too.
So
Okay.
to hand these out as well.
Yes, okay, cool, brilliant.
Okay, we have the... Oh, you're done.
What are you doing here?
I came down because I came to
Did you
demo.
lead the singing?
Well, no,
you did the
I
singing.
wrote a new song.
Oh my
and it
God.
didn't get well. I mean, somebody said, can somebody rewrite the Internationale?
Oh!
So I did. So shall I do it for you?
Yes, please.
Right.
Hello, Joe. Hello there. Hi.
Arise now, women, from your slumbers. Are you still listening to men? For reason in revolt now thunders, and our rage is turned on them. Do away with all your trepidation. Serve our women, arise, arise. Refuse their legal protestations and reject their gender lies. So women, come rally, and this new fight let us face. The Internationale unites the female race. So women, come rally, we will conquer if we fight. The Internationale unites for women's rights.
Wow! You've heard it first here. Wow! Paula, that is amazing.
Rewilding.
I stand with German sisters. We are women, we are strong. We're going nowhere. Fantastic. Women united. Courage, calling to courage everywhere. Patriarchy must go. We're going to win this. It's fantastic. And you're Mika, aren't you?
Yes,
great.
I am.
Okay. Julia. So important about this demo.
If we can both answer,
Yes.
if self-ID comes in Germany, it makes things much worse for Scotland, Wales, and ultimately England under the new Labour government.
Great, nice to see you.
Yeah.
Sheila Jeffries, why are you at this demo?
I'm here because what's happening in Germany with the new legislation is pretty much the worst that's happening in the world today, and women are being absolutely silenced, fined hugely if they speak biological truths, and children are allowed to be transgendered at 5 years old. It's the most shocking legislation in the world, so we need to be here to fight it.
And was it fun coming to the demo? Was it heartening seeing all these great women?
It is. I wish there'd been more, though. I wish there'd been more. But yes, it is lovely to see these.
Yeah, but we need more next time.
We absolutely need more.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Why did I come here? It's because to protest against the introduction of self-declaration of gender identity in Germany. It's one of the most extreme forms of gender identity law in the world. And it will allow for parents to trans their children when they're tiny. It will give any man the right to just simply declare that he's a woman and go into all women-owned spaces. It's immediate. There's no gatekeeping process, and it's at any age.
Oh, it's terrible. And is it heartening? Is it nice coming here and seeing all these women protesting? Have you enjoyed
it's great.
yourself?
Yeah, I have enjoyed it.
Out of
It's very
10,
good.
how many is it?
Oh, 9, because there could be more women.
Yes. Next time.
Yes,
It's
hopefully.
brilliant to see you.
Yeah, it's great. It's great to be here.
Kate, why did you come here?
Well, I came because when they change the law anywhere in Europe, it affects every woman and every girl in Europe. Unfortunately, we tend to look at specifics like women in hospitals, women in prisons, women in sports, women in all sorts of facilities and circumstances. But what we tend to sometimes overlook are the legal ramifications. Right from any sort of statistical analysis of pay or illness or anything really, right the way through. Trans ideology takes a horse and coaches through everything that women have fought for over the last 100 years, and it's been actually less than 100 years, I think, since we've had the vote in the UK.
Yes.
To have legal and financial independence. I'm old enough, I remember the second wave women's liberation movement campaigning for that in the 60s and 70s. I remember my mother trying to get hire purchase to buy me a piano in 1973, and she needed her husband's signature in order to do that. Absolutely ridiculous. You know, I've spoken to women who were unable to get a council residency, you know, a tenancy on a home, and they couldn't do it because they were women. So we are inclined to forget and not realise how long it took us and how hard fought for those, each and every one of those, you know, facilities and rights were. How difficult they were to attain and achieve. And this trans legislation is now abandoning them completely. You know, we won't be able to, we can't identify who women are in law, and so we can't protect or defend any of our rights. I mean, one more thing before we go, you know, I mean, we're not in the European Union anymore, but we do have an arrangement, a reciprocal, I think it's a reciprocal arrangement with a lot of countries, so that anyone who has a gender recognition certificate in another country, say in Europe, can come here and, you know, is fast-tracked to apply for one in this country and get one relatively easily. It's a bureaucratic thing at the moment. Now, if this is now passed in Germany, and that means that all the EU countries will recognise anyone who has got a gender recognition certificate in Germany by virtue of self-identifying, and so that means that all those countries now have people who can have gender recognition certificates on a whim, and they can come here and be fast-tracked for a gender recognition certificate here.
That's outrageous. Okay, thank you very much, Kate.
Thank you.